we watched the 2023 Wonka, and we have some thoughts on it. Find out what we think in This Week on Movies at Grandma's House. Hello, please come in. There's some fresh cookies in the cookie jar. There's a pitcher of Kool-Aid on the counter. Have a seat. We'll put a movie on for you. This is Movies at Grandma's House, where we look at the movies from the past, see if they're good today, and Grandma approves. And I'm your host, Isaac. Tell me what it is, or I shall poke you quite viciously with a cocktail stick. And who is considering with me today the 2023 film, Wonka?
This is Seth. Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you all, and welcome to Wonka's. Tremendous things are in store, both literally and metaphorically.
Welcome one and all to Grandma's House, and that is a excellent introduction for you, Seth. You are back. How are you feeling?
Good today. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. We want to give a big shout out to Ajax. He filled in for Seth for the last few weeks, but Seth has returned. We said he was coming back, and here he is. And this is going to be a fun movie. We've been considering the Willy Wonka. Do you call it a trilogy? It's like a remake, and then you have this film. It's kind of a prequel, but either way, we've done the Willy Wonka series, whatever you want to call it. So this is kind of that nice bookend that we get to finish up with this film. But before we do, again, we like to give you the proper spoiler warning. So be warned. We are going into spoiler territory right now. And before we get started, if you love to visit Grandma's house, you want to show her some love, show us some love as well. Click that like button, click that subscribe. Let us know you enjoy our content, and you'll be up to date when all of our new videos drop. So again, we are considering the 2023 film Wonka. This was released, it has an October 24th, 2023 at Show East. I thought that was interesting. That's where it was officially premiered. December 8th, 2023 was the United Kingdom, and December 15th, 2023 was the United States. It had a budget of $125 million, but the box office, $634.5 million. And just kind of looking around, seeing the reviews, Rotten Tomatoes has an 82%. 7 out of 10 on IMDb. Metacritic has a 66%, and Google users has about a 72%. So a lot of favorable reviews actually overall when you just kind of do a quick glance. But we want to start with our first memories. This is a fairly recent movie, but I'm interested to hear, Seth, what are some first memories you have with this film?
So believe it or not, I never saw the 23 adaptation. So this was completely fresh.
I've never seen it either. I'm with you. I remember when it came out, there was those trailers, and I thought, okay, that's interesting. But this was back like right in the middle of COVID, maybe coming out of COVID. So there was no desire to really go see movies at the theater at that time, and just life. So I remember faintly the trailers, but that's all I have. This is one of those movies I don't have much of a memory with it, unfortunately. But with that said, interested to hear with that kind of glimpse going back just a couple years, what were your expectations going on and watching this film?
So really, I tried to have even expectations. I didn't want to set the bar too high. I didn't want to go too low. So I just went right in the middle.
Yeah, that was me too. And spoiler, we recommend going back and watching our review. Again, Ajax and I considered the 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I wasn't a fan of Johnny Depp's adaptation. So my expectation was, I hope this one's better than Johnny Depp of this Wonka. It's a prequel, so you can kind of go into it with fresh eyes of, they could go all kinds of directions. But I was still thinking, I'll just go with it as whatever they go with. I'm going to try and go with the flow, keep my expectations low, don't try to expect too much. And also, as always, see what my kids' reactions would be, because up to this point, they didn't like the singing. They don't like musicals. So it was going to be very interesting to see what their reaction was for this one. Well, before we get into the plot, rewind. Let's pause just a moment to hear from our sponsors. Hey, love movies as much as we do? Then bring the experience of the theater to your walls with movieposters.com. Whether you're into the classics, the blockbusters, or indie gems, they have something for every single film fanatic. As a listener of our podcast, you can save up to 15% on your order right now. Just use code Grandma's House 15 at checkout. Head to movieposters.com and let's build your ultimate collection today. All right, in this case, we're going to pull up streaming, which is on HBO Max, and we're going to select Wonka and press play.
Willy Wonka dreams big in becoming a famous chocolatier and wants to start a factory amidst being in a famous town famous for its chocolate. Wonka is about never giving up on your imagination. Sit back and enjoy this new prequel at Grandma's house.
Right. So this is an interesting idea for a prequel. If you would have asked me like a prequel movie, I would have never thought, let's do Willy Wonka. So that was kind of my impressions, like going into this. Like, I'm really curious what they're going to do, but I want to hear from you first. What are your impressions as you're watching this film?
So the first impression was another musical.
You need to get that on a t-shirt. That is totally your thing now. I love it.
But really, one thing that I'll say is that the opening shots selections were interesting. Cinematography. The colors were vibrant and the costumes are pretty cool. So I have to say, at the very beginning of the movie, they really brought out a lot of flair, you could say.
Right off the bat, it's zoomed in. He's on a boat and he's just singing.
Yep.
So,
right. For first 5 seconds, I think.
Right into it. It was like, oh boy, here we go. This is a musical. And I think my impression was the same thing. Like, oh boy, here we go. Here's another musical. And I don't hate musicals. They're just not my thing. You know, I'll give it the benefit of the doubt. And that's what I did. I was like, okay, you know, they weren't bad songs at all. I think they were fine. Yeah. They served their purpose. But I will admit my impressions as I'm watching it, about halfway through, I was like, are we in like Mary Poppins territory? Are we going to have like 20 songs?
Oh, yeah. It felt like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It was really going there, but it was still well done. I mean, it was, I mentioned that this is the same director that did the Paddington movies. I don't know if that's a fun fact stealing, but I thought to myself, this seems like Paddington, just the style. And I had to look it up while I was watching it. And sure enough, I was like, yep, I don't know what it was, but it was just the style or something. Did you pick up on that?
It's very, very like hard to compare the cinematography. I don't know if maybe they had a different cinematographer, but the directing style was very similar in that the shot selections, like from the director, were kind of unique in the fact, like just as Paddington was. And I'll echo your sentiments too. I don't dislike musicals, but I have to be in the mood for them. And so when I'm, preparing for a podcast, not necessarily am I in the mood for something. So I was kind of shocked that they started the movie out with a song. Like I was like, just like you, I was a little bit like, oh, we're buckle in.
I mean, right off the bat. And it's like constant. I mean, it's a musical again.
Yeah.
Almost Broadway. Did you almost get that vibes? Like more of a Broadway?
Yes, I did. I noticed it was very, very Broadway-esque. It definitely had a lot of stage presence.
Yeah, that's what was kind of jumping out to me. But the big, I think, thing that sticks out is now we have a new actor playing Willy Wonka. So I want to start with you. What did you think of this new role of Willy Wonka?
So I'm not against Timothée Chalamet, but I will say he's not the greatest singer in the world. So that was a little bit hard for me. We're both musicians, on the side. And it was a little bit rough because he was struggling to hit the notes and they're his songs. And I'm like, that's a little cringy, but I liked his acting. His acting was great. He had a great stage presence. He had exactly what he needed for the role, but the singing to me was a little lackluster.
I kind of noticed that. Yeah, there was a lot of auto-tune, and that's normally not a good sign, but it's also modern. Like a lot of modern songs, even if they don't need it, I've noticed there's auto-tune, so I'm not saying that you're automatic. It's just, I did notice that a little bit now that you mention it. Like, yeah, it wasn't like negative. Like, I've definitely heard worse, but it wasn't maybe as good as it could have been. I agree with you. Maybe if there was another actor that had the singing chops to go along with it. I think otherwise he was good. I think, like you said, his acting was great. I think he kind of captured that charm. I was really enjoying some parts that reminded me of the Gene Wilder. I think that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to dial this back, get back to that, 1971 Gene Wilder, as much as it didn't follow the book. I mean, that's one knock that it had, and we've talked about it. And the Tim Burton version was trying to go more for the book. This one, it was going for that tone with the book, but it was also trying to connect it. Did you kind of feel that way too?
Yeah, I mean, I never read the book, so I'm not like an expert, but I did feel like they were definitely vibing off of the original movie. So that definitely got Gene Wilder like a little bit of a flavor. So that was actually I like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Overall, I think there's not really much to complain about, honestly. He just it was like a solid performance. Very well done with his positive energies, the enthusiasm that you knew of Wonka before. He did a really good job capturing that. So I appreciated that. But there's a lot of other things to unpack. I'm just interested. What are some maybe pros or things that you enjoyed about it?
I felt like they had like a maybe we should talk about this later, but they had like a family bonding kind of thing going on. And I thought that was maybe the strongest suit of the movie. Did you get that? Am I sounding alone in that? Or is the family unit, like you know what I mean? Like trying to work together as a family, like that kind of thing. Just with different characters, not an actual family, but like a family of friends and kind of thing. And I appreciated that because they supported one another, especially when times got rough. So that was interesting. But there's quite a few moments that, struck home with me for sure.
Yeah. That's probably a good way of putting it, because he's locked into this situation with the place that tricked him into signing that contract. He's stuck there and has to pay off this debt to get out. And so they're all working together. And Wonka has this vision of making chocolate that he can share with the world because his mother made it for him. And that was like touching. I like that aspect of it. And, I hate to keep knocking it, but the Tim Burton one was doing flashbacks, but it was just trying to be kind of creepy. And Tim Burton, that's what you come to expect. But I don't know, taking Wonka, I never thought of him that way. This feels more of like, if you showed this to me back then, I would have accepted a little better. Like, okay, this feels more like Wonka, if that makes sense. This feels more like his backstory. It wasn't trying to shove it on you, but you have that theme going of why is he trying to make chocolate? Well, he had this mother that he loved very much, and she had that bar of chocolate. And obviously it's towards the end, kind of skipping there, he saves that one bar that she had made. He was trying to make the chocolate exactly how she did. So that, I think that's a big pro to me. The story is a clever way to nod to it. You just got to separate yourself from the original. I think this is its own thing. This is a prequel. This is just giving you backstory. Those are the pros I would definitely bring out. The characters reminded me of that, going back to Paddington and what you're saying. I think it kind of gave you that, working together family like Paddington did. Is that what you mean? Kind of, were you sensing that too?
Yeah. And now that I'm reflecting on it and you mentioned the Paddington, I'm starting to realize like the shots of the characters were very similar to Paddington. Now that I'm thinking about it, I really wasn't comparing it in before, but now that you've said that, I can visually see the comparison of Paddington, and it's very, very, very reminiscent.
Yeah. Yeah. The characters are great. I mean, that's what I think stuck out to me. I mean, you have, there's a little girl named Noodle. She's an orphan who is at that lodge, that like hotel, whatever you want to call it. And she kind of helps Wonka. She actually teaches him how to read. I thought that was interesting, and all to the funny where they're trying to find the giraffe and he reads it as it's really a tiger, but he's like giraffe and goes through it mistakenly because he can't read. That little play on there is fun. You have Keegan Michael Key. He's kind of the comic relief there. I mean, what'd you think of his character?
So I thought that he stole the show. To me, he was the highlight of the film. I love how he kept getting bigger and bigger, which was really funny. And I'll probably do a callback to that may have been the reason for that. Yeah, I liked a lot of the store owners as well, as we're talking about characters. The store owners were very defined, and I know I use that phrase a lot, but each character had a presence about them that spoke for who they were and what their intentions are. And they, right off the bat, their character was known, what they're doing and what their intentions are right away. So I thought that was pretty well done.
Right. And you have Slugworth. I mean, there's that history with Wonka and him. They're rivals, and you see it come to that beginning. So I thought that was cool too. I was thinking in the back of my mind, I'm like, I wonder if Slugworth is going to be in there. Going back to, I don't remember much from the trailers. That was kind of a good thing though. I love when you go into a movie fresh and you don't have all these trailers thrown in your face. And then when you watch the film, you're like, oh, I'm pretty much watching the trailer. I did enjoy my experience in that way. This was a fresh, I didn't really see much of the trailers or call to mind or remember. So when Slugworth was there, I was like, oh, this is cool. You know, we're seeing that rivalry start. And I enjoyed it. I thought his character was well done too. I agree with you. The business owners, they're kind of, in a little we're up to this kind of scheming, and it works. I don't know. Sometimes it's a little over the top. You have Rowan Atkinson in there too. He's kind of sneaking them into their hideout. I thought that was hilarious. So many good characters, honestly. It goes, I'll just keep saying it. It reminds me of the Paddington, and that's what we really enjoyed about the Paddington series, I think, is those characters are really brought out well. I don't know how you can't skip over. I'm really interested to hear, though, for the Oompa Loompa. He was played by Hugh Grant. What did you think of Hugh Grant as, I'm blanking on his name, but he's the one sole Oompa Loompa that follows Wonka around.
Yeah, I don't remember the name either. But at first I was like, where are they going with this? And then he's kind of got to fit into the movie more and more as it went on. And I liked that. I thought his character was a lot of fun, and I liked how he was kind of evil and good at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense or not, but I thought that was kind of cool. It was interesting because it's a different take, I think, than the other films.
I agree. Yeah, I was like, I gotta get his name because we're gonna get hounded for that. Not knowing. You're like, you gotta know his name. Lofty was his name. Okay. But yeah, I loved his lines. I mentioned at the beginning, that's one of my favorite lines. I love where he starts to sing. He's just like, what are you doing? He's like, no, don't do that. He's like, it's too late. I've started dancing. Once I start, I can't stop. I got a good chuckle out of that one. So it's just, as much as you said, he's kind of this mischievous, he's up to stuff like a Oompa Loompa you'd expect. He's coming after Wonka because Wonka stole their chocolate. So he's taking it back to the other Oompa Loompas. So that's his objective. He's just, it calls back to movies that have that. I remember similar movies where there's this person following and trying to get some kind of payment or some debt. So it plays on that trope, but it works well. I agree. I like how as it goes on, you see more of him. I frankly wish there was more of him. I thought he was charming. I like Hugh Grant in that role. At first, I was a little hesitant, is this going to work? But I was pleasantly surprised with that. So that's another pro I would throw out there. But in terms overall, I mean, again, there's a lot that we could get into, but was there anything maybe you didn't like or felt like they could have improved on?
So the plot to me was not as strong as I had thought it would be or hoped it would be. There's not much progression. Now, there's a lot of character development, which is good, but the plot didn't really go anywhere, in my opinion. I'll get more into that when we go towards our reviews, but yeah, it was surprisingly, in my opinion, and I'm sorry for any offense to anyone, boring for quite a bit of the film. It just lacked some sense of charm that the others had. I don't know what to say. And again, it's nothing against Timothée Chalamet. I like some of his roles. I think he's a fine actor. It's something about the movie just didn't click with me, and we'll get into more of that later.
I don't fault you at all for that. And I kind of felt the same, if I'm going to be honest. There were times where it was a little slow. It was a little bit on the boring side. I mean, it had its very fun moments. You know,
Yes.
he has those chocolates that make people float. He opens the
Yes.
shop and people, I love those parts. I wish there was more of that. There was just too much slowness, and you can't be doing that all the time. So there's a balance, right? You can't just be sensory overload all the time. I'm not saying that. It's just, I agree with you. I like the plot about his mother, but otherwise I can really see that about the plot. It really didn't go much in the direction that you would think. It was just kind of moseying along at its own pace. It's trying to tell Wonka's beginning, so it makes sense. But yeah, I agree. I wish they would have done a little better job with that. So I agree with you.
Can I jump to the ending real quick?
Go for it.
So at the ending, like, it's kind of like gets you ready to go into the original film. Like, it was his hopes and dreams or whatever, his aspirations or whatever. I don't know how you want to put that, or if he was building the building with his mind or something. I don't know. but but couldn't they have done that like just progressively throughout the film? I felt it was really rushed. Like, it was all of a sudden like this is the end of the film, and it just didn't fit right with me. If I could be honest, the whole middle part of the movie was completely like I wanted to go to sleep. Like honestly, there was something about it. Like, the beginning was kind of strong, and then the ending was like, well, I guess this is the end now. But then the middle didn't really have much. I mean, there was parts of it that shined. And I will say I did like, moments, like I mentioned, I like moments of the film. But overall, as a picture, the execution wasn't, I don't think, as strong as what it could have been.
Yeah, I can get that. I feel like the end, it was neat. Yeah. I don't know if that's the right word, because you're kind of seeing it. And I don't know, maybe it was like it's trying to tell you his imagination. I took it just when I was watching it. I have no idea. Like, it was kind of showing you a gradual, like, sped up. Obviously, he's singing, but it did take time. So it's just kind of doing like a time lapse, if that makes sense. That was kind of how I looked at it. But I wish they would have not rushed that. I agree. That was not, it was neat because, yeah, it's trying to go into the Gene Wilder 1971 Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. There's just a lot of potential kind of left on the table.
That's exactly it. There was a lot of potential, and the execution was poor in a lot of areas. And I feel like it could have been a way better film. A way better film. And I hate to say that now that I know that the director was the director of Paddington. I'm kind of sad for him.
I like the charm. I love the way it was shot. And I could watch practically any of his films within reason, just, if it's shot like that. I get the whole boring aspect, but I still enjoyed how it was shot, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
If I'm going to watch one of his movies, I'll just be honest, I'll go pull out Paddington. I could watch that all day, any day. So this one was kind of a letdown if you're trying to compare it to him, but I still think it was well done in terms of his style. I really enjoyed that part of it, but I guess you could say it was kind of a disappointment of just like, oh, I wish they would have done this. I wish they could have just went a little bit farther on this and that. But, it's still not, I wouldn't say terrible, but,
As you pointed out, the humor was very well done. So I'm not going to argue like that aspect wasn't cared for. It's just like putting it all together was a little bit shaky, if that makes sense.
No, I agree with you. That, it remains to be seen if they make another one. I hope they learn maybe to just look at it. It did well at the box office, so I think it seems like a lot of people enjoyed this one. If you love musicals, which, again, we've kind of admitted that's not our thing, I think you'll enjoy this one, though. That's probably one to at least check it out if you're into that type of thing. But anyway, well, I'm interested to hear what kind of fun facts you have concerning Wonka.
All right, so the first fun fact, in the opening number, Willy Wonka drops a coin down a storm grate. In Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971, Charlie Bucket finds the coin in the storm drain, which allows him to get his golden ticket, which is very clever. I like that. That's very clever.
Yeah.
That was well done.
Yeah.
The next one is Tom Holland and Timothée Chalamet were the two finalists for the role of Willy Wonka. Coincidentally, both actors were also considered to play Spider-Man in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, a role that went to Holland.
Wow. Interesting there. Yeah, this was obviously 2023 and Spider-Man was, you're going back 10 years now. That's kind of crazy to think, but funny how that lines up. I guess he had the last laugh. Like, you got Spider-Man, but I got Wonka.
Well, he won an Oscar, I think, recently, so
There's
not
that
doing too bad.
No.
Let's see where to leave off at. So Timothée Chalamet got sick multiple times during production due to how much chocolate and candy he had to eat.
Wow.
So I've seen a lot of production and behind the scenes and stuff. Usually when they're eating on film, they don't actually eat. They actually just chew it and spit it out when they're not filming. But it's according to this, he was eating it and he was getting really sick. So I feel really bad. That would be rough.
If you've had too much chocolate, that's a bad, like, that really messes with your stomach. And I think I don't know if this is another fun fact you have. I thought I remember just happening to come across it, that they had a special, like, chocolatier on set.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a fun fact, but yes.
Yeah, so I'm sure that was amazing chocolate. So to him, I'm sure he's just like, oh, this is amazing. But unfortunately, you don't realize how much you've ate. And
it kind of coincides with our trivia question.
Okay. All right.
So it's time for our fun fact trivia question. Are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Okay. So director Paul King gained about how much weight eating chocolates on the set?
Ooh.
Ready for this?
Okay.
A, 10 pounds, B, 20 pounds, or C, 50 pounds?
50
I'll read it again. Director Paul King gained about how much weight eating chocolates on the set? 10 pounds, 20 pounds, or 50 pounds?
Something's telling me the reasonable is 20 pounds. But 50, man, like, I almost have to do 50 because that's crazy. But my gut was telling me 20. I'm going to do 50, though.
Drum roll. You would be right. It's 50. The answer is 50 pounds. The director of the film gained around 50 pounds because of the chocolate on the set.
That's nuts. I was like, that just doesn't seem reasonable. I mean, you're filming a movie for some time. You can definitely do that, but you have got to be just shoving chocolate in your mouth.
But to go back, the reason is they had a chocolatier on the set making all these delectable things, and the director couldn't resist it. So that's what happens.
That's what kind of bailed me out a little bit, because I was like, wait, they did have him on set, so it is. Because I was like, no, it couldn't be 50. That's just because I was like, no, my gut's saying this, so I need to go against it. Anytime I go with my gut, I go wrong. So it worked out. It's like, yes, all right. That's still crazy to think 50 pounds. Wow. I hope it was, I'm sure it was, but I hope it was worth it. Like, all that chocolate, like, that's still insane. Oh,
I have to resist it because I have a chocolate obsession. So
oh yeah,
I'm a chocoholic, so I have to resist it. I only allow myself so much. So it's rough.
Chocolate, man. I can understand his dilemma of he probably tried, but that
would be so hard to resist. That would be so hard to resist. It's all around you. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm happy. I got trivia question this time, so we're rocking and rolling. Let's move into our reviews then. So what kind of reviews are you seeing out there, Seth?
All right. So the first review I found was Sleepin_Dragon said, a perfect festive treat, 8 out of 10.
All right. And that's about the average. Again, with when you're looking at the Rotten Tomatoes, IMDb, that was about 7 or 8 out of 10. So that's pretty common average I'm seeing.
The next one was Burnt Out Boy says, wonderfully, musically, chocolate fun, 10 out of 10.
Whoa. Really liked it. Okay.
Yeah.
They probably love musicals, though.
And I'm pretty sure a lot of people were Timothée Chalamet fans going into the movie. So that might have been kind of pushing the bar a little bit. So the last one I found was Fiona_R_Lamb said, high expectations were dashed. 5 out of 10.
I mean, 5, I go back to 5 is average. It's still not good, but it's more average. But yeah, I kind of, we'll get into it, but I kind of see that side of it of just, you can be disappointed if you have those high expectations, especially. So that makes sense for sure. Well, let's get down to it. It's time for our reviews. So Seth, I'm going to start with you first. When it comes to the movie Wonka, how are you going to rate it? Are you going to take it home? Are you going to leave it at grandma's? Or are you going to hide it in the attic?
So I'll just say this real quickly. So it had some good moments, like I mentioned. I felt it was too long and it lacked the charm of the original. However, I don't remember of all the movies we've covered so far, thus far, I don't recall a movie where I was lost in interest as much. So it kept me captivated at the beginning. As I mentioned at the middle, I lost interest. I was like looking at my phone the whole time. I was like, nah, I don't know. I just, something about it. My interest was peaked. It dropped low, never came back up really. And I just was kind of disappointed with the ending. So that being said, I'm going to hide it in the attic. It just wasn't like my cup of tea or favorite candy.
Yeah, I can understand that though. That, like we talked about, if it didn't pick back up, I could totally see. Unfortunately, that's the kind of experience you're going to have with it. So, but that's understandable. We actually have, since Ajax was awesome in filling in, he did the first 2 Wonka, we had to get at least his take. So I'm going to share Ajax's review. He said that I really love Keegan-Michael Key in it and love the origin aspect, but does lull me into slumber towards the middle. So he said, I'm going to leave it at grandma's. So almost identical to your review there of like the putting you to sleep idea, just the slower parts. That seems to be kind of what's at fault with this film. But he did leave it at grandma's. So he liked it enough. At least Keegan-Michael Key was enough to save it for him a little bit from the attic in that way. Well, when it comes to me, I'm with you. I'm with both of you guys, actually. It did feel a little slow at parts. I was disappointed in that. I get you got to slow it down a little bit. You want a nice flow, not always high or always low. But I was a little disappointed in that. I will agree with that. The characters I really enjoyed, though. I thought there was that, again, Paddington flow to it. So I'm not going to hide it in the attic. I'm going to leave this one at grandma's. I'm not going to be anxious to really revisit this one, though. If it comes on again, I'm going to probably pay a little more attention, though. I feel like maybe I missed a few things. Maybe that's what interfered a little bit with the flow. I'm probably giving it the benefit of the doubt. But until I revisit it, really soak it in a little bit more, maybe just observe some things. I'm sure there's a lot of nods I missed. They were trying to incorporate to the 1971. But yeah, it's probably a little close to the attic, but I wouldn't put it that far yet. I'd be happy to revisit this one a good amount of time from now anyway. So
I will say this after bashing it, that I had a quote written down that my favorite part of the movie was, the secret is, it's not the chocolate that matters, it's the people you share it with. So that's what matters with this movie. It's not the chocolate, it's the people you share it with.
I do like that quote. That was a great quote. And that goes back to what I did like about it is his mother, the connection that he had. And that's kind of that motivation. So the plot does have its flaw with it. But again, if they just would have took a little bit farther, I really would have enjoyed it a lot more. But unfortunately, yeah, it was just kind of too slow. It didn't develop as much as it should have. So, well, let's get Grandma's rating. We're very interested to hear what she has to say. So, Seth, for Wonka, what is Granny's family-friendly rating?
Granny's family-friendly rating for Wonka is B+ for adult themes.
Pretty tame for the most part. Yeah, that's one nice thing about this film. I don't think you're going to be too concerned. It goes back to, it's that Paddington feel. Just, it kind of has that charm to it, the fun, just, kick back and relax. maybe don't fall asleep, because if you kick back and relax too much, you know.
It had a little bit of dialogue, like a little bit of language, and, not language, but like tougher than I would say PG in my opinion. But we'll see, it's based on Granny's opinion. So,
right. Yeah, just a little caution. I don't think there should be too much. For the most part, Grandma's going to enjoy this one, or the whole family. It's one of those films, but hopefully if they do make another one, like we said, it'll be a little more upbeat. They'll get the flow down a little bit better. Maybe they'll fine tune it. So, well, there it is, folks. We covered all of the Willy Wonka. I'm just going to call it the Willy Wonka saga, like films. We covered them all. Thanks again to Ajax. We're going to keep giving him shout outs for filling in. A big thank you to him. And we look forward to, he might be guesting again. So be looking for him to return maybe sometime soon. But before we wrap things up, Seth, why don't you tell the good people where they can find and connect with us?
You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You can email us at moviesatgrandmashouse@gmail.com, newsletter, keep up to date with all things Grandma's House, Patreon. We're now on Patreon, so check us out, become a member, and go to movieposters.com and type in Grandma's House 15 at checkout for 15% off.
There you go. Lots of good stuff. You don't want to miss out. Make sure you're on our newsletter. We have that monthly free poster of your choice. You get to pick the poster. But the only way you can win it is to be on our newsletter. So make sure you're signed up, and you only have to do that one time, and you are entered every month. And then there's all kinds of goodies in there. So don't miss out. Make sure you are on our newsletter to be all up to date. Everything Movies at Grandma's House. So that's going to do it for now. But don't worry, we will be back soon to Grandma's House. So in the meantime, remember to be kind and rewind. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.